people, Abel and Cain. What happened? Both of them were brothers. Who was older? Cain. One was a farmer tilling the what? The ground. And they brought what? Produce from the farm. The other one was a shepherd, and they brought, let's read Genesis chapter 4. We are going to talk about acceptable and unacceptable offerings. Kuna sadaka ambazo Mungu anakubali na kuna sadaka Mungu hawezi kufanya nini? Kukubali. Na kuna sadaka hata nikitoa sitabarikiwa, badala yake itakuwa ninachiletea nini? Laana. So let's read that. Genesis chapter 4, begin from verse 1. Yes. That's very good English. Adam knew his wife. Siku hizi kizungu kimeharibika. Biblia iko na lugha nzuri. Adam knew his wife and they were blessed with what? Endelea. Sio hiki kizungu siku hizi tunatumia kibaya. Endelea. Many of us don't even say that. Mtoto unapatikana, unasikia huyu mama anasema with the help of what? The Lord. So my brother Koske, with the help of the Lord. Endelea. Abel was a shepherd, while Cain was a cultivator of the ground. Yeye alikuwa ni mkulima, yeye kazi yake ni kulima kabisa na jembe. Kumbe amechukua ile baba yake aliambiwa naenda mlime. Yeye analima. Endelea. Yeah. Cain brought some of the crops as a gift to the Lord. And what did Abel bring in verse 4? Yes. You read up to verse 7. Okay, now let's go to Proverbs 21, verse 27. I want us to tie the two, and then we'll appreciate that there are gifts that God accepts, and there are gifts that God will not accept. Remember, God is holy, and because God is holy, He doesn't take anything. He takes gifts that befit His status as a holy God. And He also, remember, He's the creator, He's the owner. So you cannot give the honor the worst. The honor is given the best. The honor is given the first. Like Abel he brought what? The best of the firstborn lambs from his what? His flock. And he also brought fat. The best. The best. Not the worst. But what does the Bible say about Cain? He presented some of his crops, not the first. Some of his crops. Some of his crops. Not the first. But Abel brought the best. From the firstborn lambs from his what? Flock. God should come first. And he should be given what? The best. Not some. Not the worst. Not the rest. God should take the first and the best. That is the problem. That's why Cain's gift to God was not accepted. He simply picked. Jana nilisema unanunua gazeti, unapewa change ya 40, alafu wakati wamesema sasa ni wakati wa sadaka na zaka, ninaingiza mkono kwa mfuko, ninatoa ile 40, ninaweka kwa nini? Kwa kitasa. You know that's giving God the rest. Who has taken more? The newspaper guy took 60. I'm giving God 40. But you see, I didn't even plan to give God 40. I'm giving him what has as a man. I didn't plan. So it's good for you in your mind and in my mind to purpose to give God the best and give God first. The problem with Cain was not that he didn't give, but the problem was what? His attitude. His attitude, that's the problem. That's the problem. The attitude was the problem. Abel knew God comes first and God should get the best. But for Cain, anything can do. Anything can do. As in a gift, anything can do. Let's now go to 21, Proverbs 27. The sacrifice of an evil person, you know, sacrifice here means the offering. It means the gift. The sacrifice of an evil person inakuwa namna gani mbele ya Mungu? It's what? It's an abomination. Read. When you are giving God anything, please give it with the right what? Motives. And don't give God as if he owes you or he owes me. God doesn't owe you. God doesn't owe me. We owe him everything, including our what? Lives. So when we give God as if he's a debt collector, or as if we are doing him a favor, or when we give God in order to win his favor, those motives are wrong. Because those are evil thoughts. So the problem is not that we have not given, but the motivation. Why are you giving? And in what manner are you giving? You want to give God as if you are giving him the worst? Or the Bible says the gift or the sacrifice of a wicked person is an abomination to the Lord, especially when it's offered with wrong motives. God evaluates our motives. Can you imagine Satan doesn't know our motives, but God knows? Satan has no knowledge. That's why he had to use a strategy called doubt. Did God really say? Because Satan didn't know. Did God really say? And in the process, he gleaned some information. God knows our motives. And because God knows our motives, and he judges the quality of what we give, he knows this one has been given with strings attached. You don't attach strings. I don't attach strings to who? To the maker. So tuko pamoja. So that's why it moves on. Let's now go to First Corinthians 9. We read that yesterday. Is it 1 Corinthians 9? Went up verse 6. What did we say? What did we read in that one? 2 Corinthians, not first. 2 Corinthians 9, verse 6. Remember this. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. Yule ambaye anavuna hapa, anapanda hapa, atavuna hapa. Ukipanda kidogo, mavuno ni kidogo. And whoever sows bountifully will also reap generously. So what are we saying? Tunapopeana sadaka, we should give first, give the best. Second, give God first. Third, let's give God with the what? The right motives. What is your motive for giving? Number 4, let's also be generous. Generosity doesn't mean that you have so much. But generosity means that you have given out of, what does it mean? You have not given because you do not have. But you are simply giving because you know for sure you have been blessed in proportion to your what? Blessings. You give. Endelea kusoma. Teremka chini. The same verse. Sorry, the same chapter. Verse 7 and 8. How many men? Each man should give what he has. Na ile ninasimama Aming'a nasema Aming'a and the family 10,000. Is that each man? Elder Kizungu, is that each man? Na si mama anasema Aming'a and family 10,000. But I didn't even consult my wife. I didn't even consult my children. But I've said Aming'a and family. Do I know whether they'll support that? Let's think about it. We do it. I've done it before, but we do it as anybody who is an elder here uko na shida. Because sometimes you are put in a situation where you are supposed to make a decision which is not what? Informed. You don't even consult. Kwa sababu hutaki aibu. Unasema hii aibu ndogo ndogo, sitaki hii aibu ndogo ndogo. Let me motivate the people. Unasema Aming'a na familia 10,000. Ukirudi nyumbani mama anakuuliza sasa ulisema 10,000. Lakini labda mimi nilikuwa nataka niseme 20. Sasa wewe umesema 10. Sasa unaona vile tumekatia tumefungia mwingine baraka yake. Let's go on. God loves who? A cheerful giver. So God accepts gifts that are cheerfully given and willingly given. Sio mambo ya msukumo. God is not a tax collector. Tax collectors will always force. Lazima utoe. Sio watu wa county government. Bado nasikia watu wanasema wakancho. Sio watu wakancho. Unajua mtu wakancho akisema sio kupembeleza lazima. God is not like that. God loves a cheerful giver. Give freely what you have purposed in your heart. The other point, we are talking about gifts that God accepts. Sacrifices that are acceptable to God, or offerings that God will accept. You can give as an individual or you can give as a group. Msianze kuuliza eti amesema tusipeane as a group. No. You can give as a gift. As an individual. Job 1 verse 5. Every morning after watoto wake walikuwa wamefanya nini? Sherehe zao wamemaliza. Job did what? Job 1 verse 5. Don't think about money only. Offerings to God do not necessarily have to be money. There are other forms of offerings. Si mumesikia Kaini alileta nini? Mimea. Si alileta the produce from crops. Na Abel akaleta nini? Wanyama. So you bring what God has blessed you with. Out of what God has blessed you, you can bring. Soma hiyo. Job 1 verse 5. Another form of offering. Cleansed. Endelea. One offering for each of them. One offering for each of them. Akina mama mlio hapa na akina baba, yale maombi unafanya asubuhi nitarudia. Utaje kila mtoto wako kwa China. Kwa sababu kila mtoto yuko na nafasi yake katika mpango wa nani? Wa Mungu. Kwa hivyo kila mtoto yuko na hitaji lake. Mtache na shukuru Mungu ama muombe kila mtoto wako kulingana na vile ambavyo Mungu akubariki. Usianze kusema nitataja ama jina nimalize lini. Wako wengi. Kama umebarikiwa na 10, peana nini? Sadaka namna hiyo in proportion to your what? Blessings. Mention the 10. Utakuwa umefanya makosa. Mention each of them. Don't just generalize. God is very particular. Moses, I have heard the cries of my children. Lakini God mpaka Musa anamuuliza, na wewe wakiniuliza ni nani amenituma nitawaambia ni nani? Si alijitambua? God is very particular. God is not just general, very particular. He knows each one of us by name. And can you imagine, he even knows the number of mimi na wewe hata tukisoma namna gani hakuna siku tutajua. Tunajua tu after every 1 week or 2 weeks tunaenda kinyozi for men. The ladies, I don't know, ninyi amwendi kinyozi. A few of you go. But if there are people who are very patient, the ladies, tunakaa kwa 3 hours, 4 hours. Myself and men here, tunaingia tu a few minutes, tumemaliziwa. Ninyi mnaweza kukaa half a day. I'm not because I also have a mother, but she doesn't do that. But I have a wife who sometimes does it. And now, while still I have daughters, wow, sasa siulisi. Genesis 28 verse 20. We are talking about gifts that God can accept. So you and me, hakuna mbuzi utachinja, lakini maombi. Prayer ambayo unapeana is a gift to who? To God. You are praising him, you are petitioning him. Unamwambia Mungu, nimekuletea shukrani. Umenisaidia. Mungu, nimekuletea nini? Shukrani. Mpatie that gift in the morning. I commit my son John to you. I commit my daughter. So you are simply saying, be in charge of their lives. Those kind of gifts God will accept. Endelea, 28 verse 20. Jacob baada ya kumenyana, he made a vow. Ikiwa Mungu atakuwa nami, what will I do? I will do what? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of all the things that God will give Jacob, Jacob undertook to give back to God how much? 10%. But you see, he was saying, Mungu unilinde, unipatie chakula, na unilinde, mpaka nirudi kwa nyumba ya nani? Ya babangu. Now we say the same thing. Mungu wetu, tupatie riziki yetu ya kila siku. Tunaondoka sasa, tunaenda safari. Tuongoze kwa safari. Na huyu akasema, ukiniongoza tu, unipatie chakula na mahitaji yangu, na unirudishe kwa baba yangu. And for everything that you give me, I'll give you how much? 10%. Give a portion of what God has given you. He's not asking for too much. He's only asking for a portion of what he has given us. Amina? But you see, Jacob was giving as a matter of what? Gratitude. Anaambia Mungu, asante, na kushukuru. Wewe ndio tegemeo langu. Without you, I won't have the food. Without you, I won't have the safety. And without you, I'll not go back to my father's house. Kumbe kuna watu wanapenda kwao. Sio akina mama peke yao wanapenda kwao. Jacob analia, arudi kwa nyumba ya nani? Kwa nyumba ya nani? So the men here, it is nothing bad for you to wish to go to your father's house. That is the best place. No wonder after 20 years, the guy told the father-in-law, I must go home. He wanted to go after 7, akaambiwa another 7 years. So you came for Rachel, but Rachel, according to our custom, cannot be your wife. Ahead of who? Leah. Now, what do I do? Another 7 years. 14. But by the time he had done 14, watoto ndio hao. Akakaka, mali yameongezeka. He did another 6 years. He actually left 20 years down the line. You can see vile inakuwa shida. You can also give as a family. Leviticus 22 verse 18. God will accept gifts that are given in return to a vow. Unaona hii ya Jacobo ilikuwa in response to a vow. He made a vow. Kwa hivyo hata wewe na mimi tukiahidi ya kwamba Mungu akinibariki nitatoa so much iende kwa ujenzi wa kanisa, God will keep that one in the records. So ukipeana hiyo ahadi, ufanye nini? Utimize. That's what Jacob did. You can also give as a family. 22:18, Leviticus. Mm-hmm. Speak to Aaron and his sons and tell them whether an Israelite or a Gentile or an alien, anaishi wapi? Israeli. Kwa hili kanisa, yule ambaye anaishi hapa, it doesn't matter anatoka wapi. Yeye bado ni Mungu, mtu wa nani? Mwana wa Mungu. Endelea. Akipresent a gift for a burnt offering. Yes. Okay, it can be given by an individual or as a group or as a family, but it could also be given in response to a vow or a free will offering. Lakini there is a very important word. It should be a gift without what? Defect. Those gifts that are defective will not be acceptable before God. What am I saying? Kuna gifts ambazo siko na dosari. Let me give an example. Mtu akienda aibe, alete kwa kanisa apeane. Will God accept that kind of a gift? No. God has not blessed you with that one. If one has stolen, that's not what? From God. Si ameiba. So alete. Mtu aibe milioni 10, aseme Ngongiro, nimeona mko na shida. Nimeleta milioni 5, muongeze nyingine, mnunue shamba, muichukue. Si unajua mtakuwa mmechukua pesa ambayo haina mibaraka. Those kind of gifts are not acceptable. So ukipeana, hata kama wewe utakuwa unahesabu kuku, usichukue yule kuku ambayo unaona ndio yuko na dosari, unasema huyu ndio wa Mungu. Ama kama ni mayai, unachukua kale kadogo. Haka kadogo, haya mengine nitauza 2020. Hii ya shilingi 10, hii ndio inakwenda kwa kanisa. Give the best. Ile ambayo ina nini? Dosari. Amina? Nikisema hivyo, hata kama ni vizuri ama ni vibaya, hata mimi niko na ninyi. Si tuko pamoja? Hata mimi niko na ninyi. You know I'm a human being. Chapter 5. Sorry, not chapter 5, but Luke 6:8. Luke 6:8. Luke 6:8. Gifts that God will accept. Luke 6:8. Give, and it will be given unto you. A good measure. Mm-hmm. 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 Kile kipimo ambacho unatumia kupeana ndicho utarudishiwa. So if you give kidogo, unapokea nini? Kidogo. Si wewe ulichipimia? Wewe ulichipimia baraka. So ukichipimia nyingi, unasema nitapatia Mungu nyingi. Na yeye anasema I'm going to reciprocate. I'll also give you plenty because you are generous. But ukipeana Mungu kidogo, ni kama sasa umeinvest nini? Umeweka akiba, unajua si ukiweka 1 million na interest ni 10%. Si utapata 10% on 1 million. Alafu ukiweka 500 na mwingine ameweka 1 million, nani atapata interest nyingi? Ndio Biblia inasema the very measure that you use, ukipeana kidogo utapokea nini? Kidogo. Si umeweka hazina yako, you can't draw more than you are deposited. You deposited a little, so you'll also definitely get what? Kidogo. But if you deposit a lot and you know this is the right place to deposit, unajua hapo inaongezeka maradufu. So let's be generous and let's not be selfish when we are giving. 7:37. Luke 7:37. Mchungaji na msichana wetu karibu. Luke 7:37. The story of Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene alifanya nini kwa Luke 7:37 mpaka 47? You know the story. Mary Magdalene aliitwa Mary Magdalene kwa sababu gani? Alikuwa anatoka a place called Magdala. And the Bible reckons that this lady didn't have a very good reputation. But one time akajua Kristo yuko mahali. Akaenda akachukua manukato ya hela nyingi. Akakuja akamtawadha mwalimu miguu, akampangusa, na hayo mafuta akampangusa kutumia nywele ya. Na kama ingekuwa siku hizi wanasema huyu ameanza ku-associate na watu ambao tabia yao sio nzuri. Of course she was not the best. Alikuwa kama yule mwanamke Msamaria. Walikuwa hiyo timu moja. But what happened? Watu wengine wakaanza kulalamika. Na haya mafuta siangeuzwa. Hiyo hela itumike kwa ajili ya maskini. Yesu akatambua na akasikia vile wanasema. Akawajibu namna gani? Please read 45, 47. Chapter 7 of Luke. You didn't give me the gift. Endelea. Yes. 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 Mm-hmm. This woman gave the best. And because she loved much, what did Christ do? He reciprocated. Sasa kama nimepewa the best and she has consistent, amechukua huu muda wote kunipatia hii gift. Let me forgive her sins. Kwa sababu she has given the best. Wacha mambo ya kuangalia haya mafuta yangeuzwa. Kwani umaskini ungeisha baada ya kuuza mafuta ya Mary Magdala kwa Magdala. Umaskini ungeisha. No, she had to give the best because she knew whom she was giving. And in return, her sins were forgiven. Kwa sababu ya muda niseme hivi. I just mentioned 2, 3. You can also give periodically. Deuteronomy 16 verse 16 to 17. Ile tulisoma jana, when you are coming before the Lord, usiche mikono mitupu. Kama ni makambi kama sasa, usiche mikono mitupu. There are seasonal offerings. Kama makambi yako once a year. So that is seasonal. Unaona, sio kila sabato, ni seasonal. Inapeanwa mara moja. And then, of course, inachukua tena another year before we can assemble. So that gift, hiyo inakuja mara moja. You can give periodically or seasonally as directed by God. Of course, you can read Malachi 3, 8 to 12. Deuteronomy 16, 16 to 17. But at the same time, let's give faithfully. Amina? Malachi 3 verse 10. Let's give faithfully. Let's not be like Anania and Anan. Acts chapter 5 verse 1 to 10. Let's not be like Anania and Sapphira. They sold a property. They had promised to surrender the proceeds to who? To the apostles for the work of God. Then they decided to keep part of what they had sold, and yet it was part of the vow. Let's not be deceitful. God cannot be cheated. No one can lie to God. God is all-knowing. God is all-seeing. So let's not be in the same trap as Anania and Sapphira. That is chapter 5 of Acts, verse 1 to 10. Of course, you know, Haggai 1, verse 3 to 6. Let's examine ourselves. It's because we are not faithful in giving. That's why we end up suffering. I'm not the one who has said, it's the Bible. Tunakula, hatushipi. Munakunywa, hamjai. Munavalia nguo, hampati nini? Choto. Munapata mshahara, na ni kama munaingiza kwa mifuko iliyo na nini? Iliyo na nini? Mashimo. Anasema, chunguza njia zenu. Huyo ni Mungu ananiambia na anakuambia. Consider your way, examine your ways. So let's give, but you can also give secretly. And God will accept the gift. Sio lazima iwe ni tangazo. Matthew 6 verse 1 to 4. You can also give secretly. It doesn't have to be a matter of publicity. Sio lazima nikitoa shilingi 10 ama 100. And remember, you do not have to give to God directly. You can also give to your neighbor. Matthew 25. You can also give to who? Who is hungry, or who is naked, or who is in prison. When you have given, isije kawa ni tangazo. Unasimama mbele unatangaza, wiki iliyopita nimesaidia watu fulani. You can also give secretly, like Matthew 6 verse 1 to 4. But remember this, don't give conditionally. Unasemaje? Don't give condition. Usianze kupeana ukipatia Mungu nini? Masharti. Don't give conditionally. So we should give unconditionally. That is the point. And God will accept our what? Gifts. Any gift given with strings attached to God. No, God doesn't take those kind of gifts. You know, it's the honor. Alafu unaanza kuambia mwenyewe, I'm giving you on condition that you do this. God will not work with you like that. Si ni mwenyewe. So he's given unconditional. Give him without any what? Conditions. He's the one to set conditions because of his position as our creator. Of course, let me just mention 3 or 4. Ndio nimalize. Nimesikia kengele ime. Exodus 34